Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Craig and I'm a software developer based in the UK, and in this video, which is probably going to be the shortest one on the channel so far, we're going to cover HTML entities. And entities, if you haven't heard of these, are what we developers would use to display reserved characters which the browser would otherwise interpret as being intended for writing code. As an example, let's say that you're going to build an educational website to teach coding to beginner developers. On this website, you might perhaps have some articles or blog posts where you would want to display some examples of the syntax used to create HTML elements. But the problem is that when we put these into a page, of course the browser sees our angled bracket and reads it as HTML markup, so it doesn't display it. It just wants to display what it interprets as content, and here it is interpreting some intended content as code. Some special characters are reserved for use with HTML, meaning that your browser, when passing them, will do so as code. An example would be the angled bracket that we use when making our tags. If we were using the less than angled bracket, then the browser would interpret any text that follows as the name of some element's opening tag. So to display these characters as text, we can replace these reserved characters that confuse the browser with a corresponding HTML entity. And here I have a table which shows available entities that we can use in HTML. The link, as always, is below in the description for you guys. And before we go any further, here's that annoying reminder to remember to sub to the channel, smash the like button, and to say hi in the comment section. Why do I keep asking you to do this? You're probably wondering. Well, it's to help with YouTube's algorithm. The more engagement with the channel other than views means that YouTube will put the video in front of people that can genuinely benefit from the content. So if we can get them learning to code rather than watching America's Got Talent videos on repeat, then we're doing our job. But anyway, let's get started with HTML entities. So if we go to MDN, we can see that all over this page they're showing us examples of HTML code that give examples as to what valid HTML looks like when we're going to use it to make tables. So how are they making this HTML appear as content? Surely if they were just typing in this code, it wouldn't show on the page. So let's try it ourselves. So I'm going to copy the table code here that is explicitly displayed on the MDN page, and I'm going to bring it into my text editor. I have a single HTML file ready here, and I've used Emmet already to build out the boilerplate. I've added a title and an H1 of HTML entities. So I'll add the code that's been explicitly displayed on MDN, and I'll enclose these in the missing table tag, and it should show up on our page in the browser, right? Well, no, of course we know that's wrong. It's just showing us the content that is marked up by the HTML. Our browser thinks that we are just giving it an HTML instruction, and we want to display the content that is displayed in the table data element. So I'm your first cell, I'm your second cell, I'm your third cell, and so on. So if we want to display this code on the page, like MDN have, we can use something called HTML entities, which enable us to display particular characters or symbols, as I said at the start. Some special characters, as we know, are reserved for use in HTML, meaning that the browser will pass them as code. HTML entities allow us to get around this issue by giving each character a particular code which enables us to display it. So before we add some of these ourselves, let's head over to W3 Schools, and you'll notice that all of our entities start with an ampersand symbol, and you can use the entity name or the entity number, and both will do the exact same thing and display the character that you're looking for. So for example, if we wanted to display opening and closing TR and TD tags, we would need the entity name or number for our angled brackets. Here we see the less than symbol is and or ampersand, LT, and a semicolon. And the greater than symbol is and or ampersand, GT, and semicolon. So we stick a TR or a TD in between those, and you would have your opening table row or table data tags. Repeat this, but with a / before the TR or the TD for your closing tags. So let's try putting that into VS Code. I can use a multiple selection to highlight all of the less than brackets. If I highlight them first and then use Command or Control and D, it will select the next instance that it finds of the highlighted selection. So once we've done that, we can now replace all of those with our HTML entity and type ampersand, LT, and a semicolon. We can repeat this process for all of the greater than angled brackets by highlighting the first one and using Command or Control and D to find the next instance of that selection. And once we have all of them, we can type ampersand GT and a semicolon. Now I'm going to need to make sure everything starts on a new line, so I'll put several line breaks in. And actually we don't need those ones that are before the text content, so I'll remove those. Now if we save our page and refresh, we should have our set of tags for our basic table displayed on our page. If we were using CSS, we could color these and have them properly indented, but we are otherwise seeing what was intended. We're able to display characters that the browser would otherwise omit over the assumption that it is markup and not content. And you can use these entities to display any HTML elements on your web page, just replacing the character with its given HTML entity. These aren't just for markup though, we can use them to add characters that you cannot readily access on a standard keyboard, and you can include items here such as the copyright logo, which we add with ampersand, copy and a semicolon. We can add the registered trademark logo, for which we use the ampersand, reg or reg and semicolon, and we can also add currency symbols among other things. If you want to see all of the available HTML entities, then go to this page at this link, and of course I'll include this in the description as I will with all other links. And as you see, there's an enormous amount for us to use, all different kinds of symbols, so do have a look at this and play around, but remember the reference page at W3 Schools also for when you need it. Okay, so that's it for this video guys, just a quick introduction to HTML entities. It struck me that we were looking at a lot of pages like MDN which display examples of code for us to learn from, and if any of you in future wanted to build something which displays code examples and you didn't want to have to use images, then this would probably be useful knowledge to have. So thanks for watching, I really do appreciate you stopping by and giving us your time. Following this video, we're going to have 2 or 3 videos looking at HTML forms in depth. Forms are a really essential part of any website and are one of the most important HTML concepts to learn. Forms are one of the main places of interaction for users of our sites, and they allow users to send information to us, actual data like usernames, emails and passwords. So make sure you join me for those videos, which will be up quite shortly in a couple of days. So thanks once again for watching. Remember to dislike, unsub, no, that's not quite right, quite the opposite, sub to the channel, like the video and all of that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.